And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
I see in the next few months a noisy country, a very noisy country, rowdy country, a heavily divided country, a very tough economy, a sense of elitism by those who are coming at the hem of authority. The coming in of the Unity Party is going to multiply the economic woes, the economic conundrum, the economic quagmire, the suffering of the Liberian people is going to multiply. We are not prophets of doom, but the reality will come.
On the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, build hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieve on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. Through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the rule of law. Through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the rule of law. Through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the rule of law. As you are aware, Liberia, for the first time in over 7 decades, experienced a peaceful transition of power when I assumed the presidency in 2018. Tomorrow, we will witness another historic moment as I hand over the reins of government to my successor, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka, making yet another significant milestone in our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Significant milestone in our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, will never turn against our own people, and external actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be law-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences, embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging. Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging. Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging. Reconciliation starts immediately in Liberia so that everybody can have a sense of belonging, and we can avoid any other upheavals in Liberia. It was a lesson for can avoid any other upheavals in Liberia. We can avoid any other upheavals in Liberia. It was a lesson for Africa. We need to learn from Liberia. 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 We need to know that elections take place regularly, and if you are beaten, you hand over peacefully and hope for better luck next time. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage of President George Weah. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage next time. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage. And we thank Liberia, and we salute the courage of President George Weah.
I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be law-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences, embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Started with the acknowledgement. Those of you who have come on, thank you so very much. We appreciate all of you that you've chosen Kings 88.5 and the show Real Talk. Asata Miller, you are on from Red Light, and you say good to be on the show. Good to have you. Philip Kura, you are following from Abu Dhabi, the UAE. James Keller, you've come on from West Point. Bill Gay from Grand Bassa, Buchanan City. Andrew Woods from Swaga Island. And you said, bless God for today. We're looking to see what's next. While no one knows the future, we can only hope. Yasa Sharif, you've come on and you said, welcome back. Yeah, good to see you people. We're back again. Joshua Quega from Red Light, Pinsville City. Zuboyu Tobe from Abu Dhabi, you said. Salia Sunin, you've come on from where you're right out too long. Sorry. Ibrahim Siev from Claratown, District 14. That district has gone to bed. What happened? What is happening with your representative, Ibrahim Vamuya Konen? I have not heard about him for a long time. Neither have I heard a voice or his voice in the House of Representatives. What is happening? Solo Wat Kosia, you've come on from your comfort zone, New Georgia Estate. You said, as usual, you asked for the weekend. It was great, as evident our being alive presently. I hope that you had a wonderful time also. Hannah Kamara, you've come on from Algiers, Algeria. My dear Southeastern sister, Duaite, good to have you on. And you say you're having a very cold day from your end. Yes, my weekend was great. We thank God Almighty. That's Gay Bazon. Gay Bazon, you've come on from Matadi Junction, you said. Kusaka Dosla from Maryland County. A. Heron Willie from Caldwell Road Community. Ike Kofe. Your last name is Pekorfeh. I show it's pronounced Kofe. And you are following from Central Town, Morovia, you said. Mac Ben from Dupont Road Community. Sophie Blamo, you didn't say, but it's good to have you on. Thank you so much. You're coming in like rain falling. We can get all the names out, then we wouldn't have time for what we've got to talk about. So we'll acknowledge you in between. Thank you for coming on. We've got a couple of things to talk about, and then we are out. Let's start with what unfolded yesterday with the man who claimed that he is the representative of the House of Representatives, or the divided House of Representatives. And I will include you, the people, in it. When I say the people, I mean the ones who would not be a bit critical, driven by sentiment or personality. You just shout, yeah, yeah, yeah. And having no understanding that you are being used, abused, and exploited. And that's the core values of politicians. So the man who claimed he is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Richard Cohen, sought prayers. He went out searching for prayers as if people search out for prayers. Well, that's what he was on yesterday. After leaving the Baptist church, he went to United Prayer Chain Ministry to get an answer whether he is the right person, or that God has told the pastor that he is the speaker. So he went told the church. Just at the close of the service, they had said the benediction, and he arrived within the end of the benediction. And I am told the pastor called back the congregation because a prominent figure in the pastor's opinion had arrived, a politician. She called back the congregation and introduced him and gave him the mic to say what's on his mind. He took the mic. These are his words. These are the words. Listen carefully. When he was handed the mic by the church pastor, he was buoyant, confident, feeling that he has already reached the zenith of his career. So these are some of the lines, because the rest of it was just praises, greetings after he said these. One, he said, the Supreme Court will legitimize me as Speaker on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. 2, and you know what it means to get Speaker in your district. 3, when you get Speaker in your district, all the development you're fighting for will come. He went further to say the Speaker should be able to satisfy his people to a greater extent. He concluded, trust me, things will change for you. And the crowd or the congregation or church went gay, whoa, celebrating, laughing, excited. As if Rachel Kuhn just got elected representative. Politicians will only know God or attempt to know God or try to seek opportunity from God when they need something. That's how, not all politicians, I should say that, not all, but we just use the general term because that's what we see in our society. But there are other politicians who are strong in their religious faith. They consult God. They even go to consult their pastor if there is something they are about to embark on or they are sensing. They go to seek an understanding so that they will know where to go, just as the Israelites were in 1 Chronicle 12:32, that they will move to the sons of Issachar because they had understanding of the time. Men of God, women of God are seers. They are people who have understanding of the time. So some of these politicians are religiously inclined. Before something, they will go and consult the pastor to get advice or to pray for them before they get back upon that. There are others who will have no time to think that way, but rather they will lean on their political idea. They will be so confident of the cash that they have, and the money will make decision for them only when things are not working or seem to be against them. That's when they will move to a church, and then they will ask the pastor to pray for them. They will explain what they want to do, and then the pastor will put it in a prophetic form. That means the pastor will do it in a way that he or she receive revelation that politician, God approved that politician. So Richard Kuhn goes in the church saying that that he will be legitimized as the speaker on Tuesday. Leave that, let it be as it may, because we got a couple of hours. What we do know, as much as we leave it with the Supreme Court, given the circumstances we find ourselves in, we know that the Supreme Court would not do the contrary, but rather the needful. Anything to the contrary, the Supreme Court will be plunging this country into chaos. And if anything like that happens, they should blame themselves. So we leave it that way. If they legitimize The majority bloc recognized Richard Kuhn as the Speaker of the House of Representatives from that dubious and kangaroo arrangements, then it means that Liberia is finished, is doomed. So we leave it. But here is what or how politicians or the people allow themselves to be used. They hear broad day lie, diabolical lie, and they will not stop to read into what the politician is saying. One of the reasons the politicians use the people in Liberia because they realize that most of the people, majority of the people, are not enlightened. They don't have the kind of level or literacy to read into what they are saying. They are excited. So when they see the person, they are excited, like they saw Richard Kuhn yesterday, like God appeared. Richard Kuhn telling the people that when he becomes the speaker of the district, all the developments the people been fighting for will come. That the speaker should be able to satisfy his people to a greater extent. Here is the irony and the bully. Richard Kuhn had been representative, he had been representative for years now. Richard Kuhn District 11 is empty. Not a single practical development he can show. Yet he had the audacity to stand in the house of God, facing the people, and say the Supreme Court will legitimize him on tomorrow. And then when he becomes speaker, the development the people had been fighting for, it will come to them. Meaning, once he's speaker, District 11 will receive the kind of support developmentally that it has never ever experienced since representative governance or legislative governance came into being. That under his watch as speaker, it will be unprecedented. Do you need to wait to become speaker before? He been in that place for years. What has he done? You don't need to ascend to a given position before you do extraordinary. You can do the little that you have by your might and your finance, and that will convince the people that if this man gets the bigger one, he's going to do more for us. Ironically, he has done absolutely nothing. He is an F. He is a complete failure in his own district, but had the bravery to stand before the people. But you can blame him. That's how people go about electing politicians. That's why politicians are relaxed. Once they see the politicians, they are excited. So he lied. And interestingly, you don't want to stand in the house of God knowing that you're not going to have that capacity to do. Instead of asking, and then you say that you will be legitimized. Then why did you go to the church now? He went purposely for the pastor to give him an understanding. You called Richard Kuhn and asked him what did he go to do at United Prayer Chain Ministry behind St. Michael? What people go to pastor for? They go to pastor for insight, that the pastor will tell them what God has said, or what God is revealing, or what God has revealed, and what they need to do, and the confidence thereof that they need to have and relax that it is already dead. That's the reason people go to see us. Outside of Christian, the movies we watch, we see it in real life. People go to traditional seers, and the person perform for them, and they tell them, look, this is going to happen. All you need to do is to go this way or do this, do that. Seers is just anybody who looks into the future, who can determine the future, and how that is impossible, because God himself said it. No one determines a person's future. No one knows anybody's future except he alone. So he goes to the church so that the pastor will tell him, you know why he did that? Because he's desperate to become the person that he is not worthy of becoming. And that's how politicians behave. When they are desperate, they take their desperation to pastors and they bully pastors. Now, at the close of the day, what do they do? What do they do? I'm not saying that this is bad, because even we see it in the Bible, a token was given after. I will get that before the close of the show. But it wasn't as rampant, and the guys who did it in the Bible were not politicians. They did that on purpose, and God saw the need because he instructed that. Because the people know that most of the pastors, no disrespect to you people, most of the pastors are downtrodden, fighting hard, struggling with the church. So they will put money ahead. All of the time, that church being over there, Rachel Kuhn never went there privately, like others would do, and say, Mother, you've been struggling with this church. This church has been going through this. I send my people to do an indirect investigation. So I have come privately to help you. Rachel Kuhn has never gone to that place to be of help in any given way with all of the money he has, all of the United States dollars. Because in his desperation, he wants to be speaker, he goes there and said those things in the church. Then he say, Mother, I leave in small thing for your surgery. He gave 1,000. Then he said he will give another 1,000. So if this situation had not occurred, he would not have gone there. Assume that they follow the format legislatively and the speaker is removed. Do you think he would have gone over there? He would have ever thought about that woman in that church? No, never. But because he's so desperate and he seems confused as to the situation, so he thinks now that let me go to a pastor who will lead me, who will give me that assurance. And that is how pastors can lie to them. And that lie is a righteous lie. Because they wouldn't go to the pastor unless they are in trouble or they want something. They wouldn't be of help to any church until they have a problem. So when the pastor says that I see this, I see that, the pastor is not wrong. That is a righteous bully. Because the politician is bullying the pastor, so the pastor has to bully the politician. Because when that politician leaves the pastor's presence, he or she is not going back there again. Once his goal is achieved, not going back to that church or that pastor. So if the pastor says, oh yes, I've been praying and God revealed to me, and that seat is for you, you will become the speaker. Yeah. What happens? He's excited. So the next thing is he takes up money. And that is the best way. I'm not advising any pastor to do that. But if it is within your reach that they can help your church, you do it. Because the politicians are cunning. They will never ever attempt to be of help to any pastor or any church unless they find themselves in some kind of problem or they want an answer from God. So he went to the church and said, instead of greeting the church, I think that's what he needed to have done first. Greet the church, tell them what is right, and then you have a private discussion with the pastor. What the church got to do with you becoming speaker and the Supreme Court legitimizing you? What has that got to do with the church? What the church got to do with that? It doesn't make sense. The church is not determining. It's not in that race with you. not in that contestation with you. They gather to worship God, to pour out their heart unto God. Then you stand in front of, you see how most Liberian politicians are not mature, and telling them that the Supreme Court will legitimize him as speaker on tomorrow. What a dull politician in Rechekun. Stay blundering along the way. What the church got to do with that? And at the end of the day now, argument ensue in the church. Then some of the church people got uncomfortable and said that the people should not argue that. What reason? How can you figure that out? When a politician goes into a church, not a religious person, he's giving the mic in his capacity as a politician running for a given office or an office that he has stole, but it is not his. He hasn't received it. He stole it, but he hasn't received it. You know what I mean? You understand that? You feel that you have it, but it is not with you. Rather, it is just an impression. You feel that you have something, but it is not with you. It's an impression. That's how you feel. You're flirting within. You're flirting within. You're just having that understanding, yes, I have it, and you're feeling good within yourself, but in reality, it is not with you. You do not. That's what it is. So he goes saying all of those things. And at the end of the day, the people arguing here and there. And then the atmosphere is uncomfortable. A politician, whenever a politician is given a mic to talk, he talks in his capacity. He says what he says, and it becomes an open discussion because there is a mixed culture. That's why you, as a pastor, as I slip off from this to go to another, let me caution you, because you're not understanding this thing in this country. You don't want people to criticize or to say some things about your church atmosphere, about the church, but yet you are comfortable to allow the politician to go into your church, and you gave him the mic in his capacity as a politician to make his remarks, and you know that his remark is going to be political. And once it goes out, it will not meet the taste of everybody in the church because it's a mixed culture. And that is why some pastors are very, very careful. They are wise. Sometimes they allow the politicians there, they just, oh, we have politician XYZ with us today, worshiping with us. He is a Christian, thank God Almighty. And they just offer a prayer, and then that's all. You know why they do that? Not that they can allow that politician to speak, because they don't know what is in the politician's mind. He might just say something that will upset the church atmosphere and bring confusion. Like what Richard Kuhn did yesterday. I thought he would have said something just off politics. Sometimes as a politician, you just need to be wise. You just use wisdom. But because he's immature, he stands in the church and said, tomorrow, the Supreme Court, which he was referring to Tuesday now, the Supreme Court will legitimize me as speaker. And you know what it means to get speaker in your district. When you get speaker in your district, all the developments you've been fighting for will come. The speaker should be able to satisfy his people to a greater extent. Trust me, the things will change for you. That was purely unrealistic. But that's what unfolded yesterday. Let's move to the next, the field stuff. It was already dead on arrival, but the government tried to put up a brave face. Some of the people within the government knew that it wasn't going to work. It was an F in waiting. Now, before the close of the show, I will ask you, grade this government. Grade this government. 285 machine, F. Bosses, F. What other one before the bosses? They had something else before the bosses. Necotech, there's no reason, F. The government is blundering with almost everything. And it is because the man who is the president is not president with anything proactive, but rather sleeping. So the people around him, they know that it is easy to bully him. As we speak, they have taken him, I think, to the ministerial complex or somewhere. Yeah, I think, to dedicate maternal war. Yeah, not the ministerial complex. I think something his wife constructed. He has become the dedicatory president. They're just taking him here and there to do dedications. They have to be mindful so that he doesn't fall off, because he's not in a good bill of health. We like it or not. He has aged. He celebrated his 80th birthday. Once you reach, you are in late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you have frail. So it is all about managing health now. The expectation that they talk about that we should have, we can say the same. He needs to manage his health. Otherwise than that, he's going to fall off. We don't wish for that, but it is the reality. So the Necotech deal or scholarship, they don't want to make an official announcement, but it's dead. It's finished. It's over. Another F. Now, President Boakai or Nebuchadnezzar Boakai is not sitting down to do an independent thinking of how these things are affecting his government. The fanatics or the fans will think nothing wrong with it. They will put the politics they can put into it. But there is the other side. Those out of the country, they will stand to give it a serious thought. And they will begin to question the credibility of the government. That might discourage people from coming to this country to do business, because they will see it and reach the conclusion that almost all the people that are around the president are crooks. And they will use those things as justification why they should not come to Liberia, or they should not recommend anybody coming to Liberia with any business or whoever want to partner with the government. They will reference those things. Do you know that it's almost 7 that the government initiated? Since those things, none of them came to pass. And you don't know that it creates credibility problem. It places a dent on the credibility of the government, and it discourages people because it puts in suspicion. Once these things are happening, people are suspicious about you. Because you gave so much publicity to it. The 285 machine. Look how it went around the world. Even America, the greatest economy, followed by other developed economies, Italy, France, Germany, and all of those places, they can give that kind of publicity stunt that we gave to those 285 machines. Yet, F. Before then, the bosses, they had thought that coming in with those bosses was going to be another morale, a political capital they were going to score. Only to realize that arrangement was a fake something. Somebody tried to bully him because they know that he sleeps well. He's not thinking. And this is it. Once you aren't proactive, Once people know that you have that physiological problem, they try to take advantage of you. Yes, people do that because it is a serious deficiency that will not allow you to be so strong, so active on them. So they come to you, "Oh, Mr. President, I met so and so while I was in China, and these investors are credible. They've been in the business for 30 years. They've been doing this there. I spoke with them, and they are open to do business with us, and they've agreed to provide this. And so, Mr. President, I just to share it with you. This is a good initiative." And then Mr. Sleeper will sit down there and say, "Yes, okay, let them come." When voices of wisdom in the country, literal voices, start to come out, then they put up a defense that the people don't want development in the country because their government failed, so they want our government to fail. Because they never did X, Y, Z, so they didn't want us to do it. Until the truth reveals itself. Just as Martin Luther King said, "No lie live forever. No lie live forever." No matter how you try to color it, to put it under the rug, it will be known. No lie live forever. So that Nicotech something is dead. You will never hear it. What is happening, and the government is ashamed to issue an official statement to that because it is another F. That's what you get when you come into power and you're not properly planned. They accuse CDC. They say, "Oh, there was no proper agenda. The people just came to power. The people knew nothing about government. They just jumped." The same thing. At least at this time, CDC was finished with the proper agenda. Yet they still having proper agenda, and not proper but arrest agenda. I think they should be having a meeting tomorrow at the ministerial complex because he chairs that meeting, the president. He chairs that arrest agenda for inclusive development. They stay putting it together. 11 months. At this time, in the first 4, 5, 6 months, CDC was finished with the proper agenda. But 11 months, they stay putting it together. So isn't it the same? And then that will take us to the next publicity stunt. It was a publicity stunt. Ethiopian Airlines. Nothing extra in that thing. Nothing extra. Look at the hype they attached to it. As it, an airline returning to a country is unprecedented. An unprecedented event or situation is that which has not happened. It is beyond everybody's widest imagination. It is what is referred to as news. You're using the word return. Ethiopian Airlines returned to Liberia. What extra in there? Government officials and other people, along with Sleeping Joe, Nebuchadnezzar Joe, thronged the airport and say they're welcoming Ethiopian Airlines to Liberia. Forget about the economic benefits because it's not, the economic benefits are not much for us. Don't get overly excited. You got to be careful. There is not much there for us economically as it is there for Ethiopia Airline and the Ethiopian economy. One government official posted, see, listen, tell you that they just try to create a scene that they do not know how to create. The government official posted, the airline came to Liberia with 161 passengers, returning with 162 passengers. What is that? What is that? You help me here. He said the airline came to Liberia with 162 passengers on board. They returned with 161, returned 162. So what is that? Is that a profit for Liberia? So who is that one passenger? What does one passenger mean? What difference economically for Liberia? You have a situation that most of those airlines will not be. They are here conditionally. That whole thing was purely politically motivated. The real economic side will start to come up, and at the end of the day, you will hear most of these flights suspension to Liberia. You just need to take time. That is why government is not about proving a point to the next person or the people in opposition rather. It's just doing what you sign up to do and do it right. When you attach unnecessary political stunt to an incident that is not an unusual one, everybody knows, and they know that the country not going to benefit much from it. It becomes just a political talk. There are too many things you as a government need to work on. If those airlines should be in and out of Liberia, you think they're so freak for Liberia that they will just be coming? Look at your runway. Look at the other places at that airport. You can hardly have electricity. You're not thinking about getting those things in place, but you are excited. You're running 24/7 Ethiopian airline return to Liberia. And then you're mortgaging. The CDC government say they created cake airplane. At least they created cake airplane. Fine. But you did not create anything. Ethiopian airline, it's not Liberian airline. If you say that you've purchased Liberia, you're showcasing Liberia's own airline, then it makes sense. But you're showcasing another economy, another country. So at least CDC did not say Ethiopian airline, Afghanistan airline, Tajikistan airline. They say Liberia. So if you say nothing happened, it was just a cake, at least they did not lie. They did not use another person's sweat, another person's creativity, another person's development to add glory unto themselves, because that's the most dull thing you will ever do, to take somebody's own credit onto you. So at least they were honest. You consider a cake, fine. But you showcasing another person, another country property, another country innovation, another country development against yours and using it as a credit to you. What you picking up from that thing? You continue, you're using the word. You're listening. Did you people follow? Throughout, they're using the word return, return, return. Nothing unusual in that thing. They both say, okay, because of XYZ, we pass around. We can't visit you. There is in that whole agreement, you look at it, it will come up. We're talking again. When we're talking about the eco-tax, something they say, oh, that whole agreement is coming up. You will see. There are certain conditions laid out. That whole thing is just like when you go in a restaurant. When you go in a restaurant, what do people do? They give you the menu, and then as you're looking through the menu, they bring something called appetizer, so that it will give you, while you amusing yourself, you're running through the menu. So it will be left with you now to make a determination based on what you see. So the people come and say, oh, okay, no problem, we're coming to Liberia. Since you have been calling us, you have been saying X, Y, Z, we'll make a trip to Liberia. So they come to Liberia, but they did not come as a full or with a full guarantee. There's nothing definitive about that whole arrangement. The people mess Boaka up again. They have bullet Boaka. Watch it. We're not praying. We don't want Everybody wants development. This is our country. Anything the government does developmentally, rightly, all of us take the glory and we will celebrate. But the whole thing, everything they're doing around Bouaka is bully. They have lied to him again with this Ethiopian airline. With time, you'll get to know it again. Bouaka will one day sit down and confess publicly that some of his ministers are misleading him. It's just that he's not the bold type. He's not the shame guy that can go with boldness to admit. I know that for a fact because when Miata family had that situation and that occasion was a messy one, his own Miata family he appointed, and she organized a messy inauguration that almost led him to the great beyond. He had the audacity to tell the whole world that Miata family organized the best inauguration ceremony ever in the history of the world. So if he can come out to admit that some of his officials are misleading him, it will not be a surprise. If Bouaka was serious by now, he will tell the public about some of these things. Do you know? Look at that. Those what they came up with that how they call it 485 or 285 machines. The boss, the rest of it, I can just name them in order, but several. The NASCAR D. Yeah, they call the bosses Ayololo. Almost it. They misled him. They had wanted to use that, or they saw that as achievements, as breakthroughs. Only to turn out all of those things were lies. And he is unable to face reality by admitting that some of his advisors are ill advising him. All of these things, it never happened. We did not see those things in Ellen's time. We did not see those things in George Weah's time. Yes, no government is 100%, but there wasn't 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lies of those of this sort that we are saying. There was no ambitious announcement made of all of those things, and none of them came to pass. Sometimes former President Sally will wait when everything is over, when they are certain after they've done the background investigation, then they announce. We saw the same thing with the Weah's government. Though they weren't perfect in everything that they did, but they were cautious along the way on how they engage certain governments or multilateral partners about certain developmental initiatives. They were cautious. There were times that Ellen fanned off certain arrangements. There were times that George Weah blocked certain arrangement because he realized that if they went ahead and make so much publicity about it, giving their understanding that it was not too clear, it will be, the backlash will be strong against the government. It is happening to Bouaka. Bouaka is not cautious. He's not having a second thought. The first one failed. The first lie, the second lie, the third lie, fourth lie, fifth lie, sixth lie, seventh lie, going to the 10th. Still, he hasn't come to his senses yet. Should God give him extra 5 senses to make it 10 before he can start thinking right? What does it? But it is dead. You'll never hear that Ecotech stuff again, yeah? You'll never hear. Let's take a few calls on this one, and then we'll move to something else. Our sympathy to those who lost their lives in Guinea. It was a tragic situation. 56, according to BBC, 56 persons, that what BBC reported, 56. And it came from the referee. He took a decision sending off 2 players and then awarded a penalty. After sending off 2 players from the visiting team, then he awarded the home team penalty. In that anger, the fans, they started throwing stones. The next thing, they evaded the pitch, and then it's a stampede. 0772 23 99 33 0886 40 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 9803 75. As quickly as we can do it so that we move to something else. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
William W. Official state president for the Liberation Movement.
Let's hear you.
And I joined for Starwell.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Thank you so much, sir. You said maybe you waited for the end of the show that you asked her what the government has done better mobility government said.
No, you can say you can say no. Listen, you can say it is your right. It doesn't have to be at the end of the show. I might forget, so you can say.
Thank you so much, my brother. Everything I put there said from the Genesis to the time 1 year ago, telling me nothing happened. When the police do, the people break down, they put it down again. Everything you're saying, the machine still, buses still. What happened with butter? They said. Let's say them by himself to reason the case. I'm not doing nothing.
Thank you.
And if I say nothing, no, it's what I did for him. My brother, nothing like this.
Thank you, sir. Hello. 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 Hello.
Yeah.
You are on the air.
Good evening.
No, but this is not the. This line is for the women. You don't do that. Hello. You heard me say the women's line 0777 9803 and 75, and then you're calling on it. Hello.
Yeah, hello. I can hear you for the line went up.
Yeah. Let's hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I say I'm covering Brown calling for Nancy basketball court. Yeah, saying to the issue, you know, I will not bring anybody. Joseph Boaka doesn't have leadership ability. That's why it's for the past 11 months now, nothing showing. The roll, the yellow ball, the missile, everything. But I will not bring the innocent. For Rachel Kuhn, Primo, if I can get you dry rest, that great way I will get you. Dry rest, we don't have meaning. The least food in the hall, if I can sell my neighbor, then I will call great again. What I'm not trying to say, Rachel Kuhn, all the represented money, they can have the district. When the law breakers, that's what made to when you got speak up for you, yeah. Tomorrow we just talk about our country, yeah.
Okay,
but a high for what they put to us. But waiting for Supreme Court, see, now we see if the way they break the law.
The man said the Supreme Court will declare his speaker tomorrow.
When they for the far.
That's what the man said. The man I know. That's what the man said. The man was very confident.
Yeah, I know now. If you get it for the fact and they go through the record process, fine. But now when they feel, they cool feel, they suffer for 1 or 2 weeks now.
All right, comfort.
Coming on to say XYZ. But we are watching tomorrow, we'll be there again.
All right, comfort.
You will tell your stand. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you too. Have a nice morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Yeah, my name is Eva Charles. I'm joining from Spain team. Okay.
We're waiting to hear you. We're waiting to hear you, my man. You're on the air.
Yeah, brother. They what I will get in now. We know where to say again because myself, get they see the people that are coming on the airport building. I go talking my letter for me. Why more people? I'm a big boy. I must say, more police. I'm a power my thing because I'm drinking politics in your horse. This are this. And they know very well that people they're not coming for nothing. Nothing for nothing. People they coming for different things.
Your landlord for you also?
Now I'm speaking. I look at play. I put you in my ear. Listen to your station.
That politics been your landlord for you also, my man. You owe the landlord. You don't pay.
Yeah, it's a politics.
And you owing the landlord, my man. Your time finished. You don't get money to pay. Eh?
You're not asking you, my time you, brother. I can add to you. I said, the people are coming because they say one day my friend was discussing it. He tell me to forget about it. I say, I can't forget about it. Because I can always talk for my country. Again, he said, I can always play April Quarter Williams radio. He tell me to leave her. I say, leave her. They are talking about politics. He tell the community, tell me to leave the place. They are still talking about airport. They have people coming to airport.
Your landlord are Unity Party, man.
Yeah, Unity Party. Unity Party.
So in the evening, you can put AB Win on show on face the issues, and you can get there because Unity Party, man, he won't hear it.
Yeah, because I be playing it. I get low. Oh, when nobody hears it, you must have not playing it.
Oh. But that one ain't not correct. That what they doing ain't not correct. You get your rent, you paying your money there.
Yeah.
It ain't want nobody to talk about the government or against the government, or they want to hear anybody from Kings, or they want to hear AB Winner. Then let them post also United Party people in the home. For the country, for everybody. My man, don't worry. So they give you your balance money?
Yeah, they give me the money. Check it. Within my hand, say I will go look for play that. Myself looking for play.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, you will get place. You will get place. Yeah, God will make way for you. God will bring somebody your way. He will give you good place.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. Hello. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. What is your name and where you call from? Put life in your voice, my man. Talk loud.
Yeah, this is Lloyd D. Johnson, and I joined you from district number 11 to be precise, Quebec community. Hello.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, the fellow who just called on the phone and said that he landlord had issue because he talked about But let me be fair to you. That one is true. I even facing that same problem too with my landlord, but the only thing he never put me off. But he keep me saying, man, he keep me, man, why you see behind the we are there? Why you really see behind the we are there? Today, he is said, he's not disappointed in Baka. But someone not even so level when in the hall talking about we are what can happen. So I thought last thing but not allow like two things see you. Thank you.
So your landlord did that to you too?
No, for me all the only thing he keep me and say, man, why you really doing beyond job? Why you really doing beyond job? But now I've tell you, he said, man, he totally disappointed we are.
But he did not say he was going to ask you to leave the house.
No. I stayed there until my time. You are coming in your house because you want to take care, you want to face the house. I stayed there my time. Everything we all live there as family. But the only thing he said to me, but why you really doing beyond job? Why you really doing beyond job? But after the election, he said when you look at the family, he said disappointed too. And the whole thing there. So I treat that message.
Okay, Chief. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day. Hello.
Hello, Brother Sim.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, Ma B? Calling from PHP.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you. And you?
Yeah, from January to December.
Maybe you went off, or you can call back. We'll get you back on the air. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Okay. I'm Emmanuel Cooper. I come from Balanceville. Yeah, like you really said, you need a better knowledge. You don't have to celebrate the return of an airline, right? Hello? Hello?
I'm listening, Chief. We are listening to
we
you.
don't have to celebrate as a country, odious country, of the return of an airline for business. You should own your own plane. The investment you put on your own airline, the Ethiopian airline, coming back, they will not even use that plane as a crew. Remember, no, it doesn't bring something to us. They only pay government revenue for stationing at the airport for tours.
You went off, sir. Hello? Let's see, maybe Mambi is back. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
I mean, this line is for the women. You can get on it. Call 23 99 33 30 44 97 0777 9803 for the women. Yeah? Hello. Yeah, let's take a few calls and then we'll move to something else. If not, then we're out. Hello. Oh God. Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. St. Andrews.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. St. Andrews. Mr. St. Andrews, this is Spencer Mohammed, and I call from my Pro corner down Winter Coast Hill community. Thank you very much. Firstly, let me congratulate you and your government for always giving us the opportunity to make our voice heard on national issues. Mr. Andrews, this is the highest hypocrisy I've ever seen in my life. This Richard man, just yesterday, made the Liberian people to understand that the Supreme Court was melding into the legislature's affair. Then how come today he's going into the church and asking the same Supreme Court to legitimize his position? Mr. Andrew, is this not hypocrisy?
That is that is speaker there.
Some of us,
I may who say speaker.
Some of us are students of literature. Alexander Pope once said, he said the wise man rides on the back of the fool because Richard Coon feels he's wise. That's why he wants to ride on the back of the people in the church. So he went in the church to galvanize the support of the people so that he can ride on it. After denigrating the highest court in our land, after insulting and slapping the highest court in our land, he comes back to say the court will legitimize his position. This is the highest hypocrisy.
Okay, Chief.
Mr.
Thank
Andrews,
you.
To the other point, 1 minute, Mr. Point. Mr. Andrews, the issue about the failure of this government is just basic. This government came out with 285 yellow machine, it dies. Came out with 300 buses, it dies. Came out with asset recovery, it dies. Came out with what? The quote-unquote 25 million USD, or scholarship is a scam. And this is the same thing that is happening to the Ethiopian highway. Nigeria is as old as 176 years. And you are showcasing Ethiopia highway, Ethiopia airline, when it rolls from Sniper Hill to Nikutan, it's inaccessible. Hey man, you told us you got 42 years experience. Is that the 42 years experience? When can I even go to Wasunga?
The message they put lie on you. He never said he has 42 years experience. Oh. The message you lie on you. Hello.
Hey, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chief.
My name is James Doe, the simple Liberia people English big man and the political twin swallow. Sam, the Honorable Coon Mayor in District 11, the mayor doesn't know his left from his right. You really won't be speaker.
You from that district?
I live in a district.
What has he done that you can point to?
Lord.
My man, a serious thing I'm saying, man. I'm laughing. Give something. Give something practical.
No, I'm saying the truth to you. Even a own supporter in the district, very, very disappointed in Richard Coon. As you speak, Coon have left our district and you went somewhere else that you can't even see him. This is a mayor who say you want to be speaker. The mayor doesn't know his right, but his left.
So there is nothing you can show that he did since he became representative?
I can't record. I'm speaking the truth. Come in the district and find other people.
What part of District 11 you are?
I live around Duja Technical College, District 11.
And his fingerprint and footprint not around Duja?
Nothing you can see. The only thing Kun was trying to cajole some women, and he said he had, I know, a loan or something. The women had to put their own money together, and he said he wanted a key for the money they were keeping. As you speak, the whole thing broke down. He said he had a annual school, trade school. As you speak, there's nothing you can see.
Okay, Chief.
There's nothing you can point to that Kun have done for this district.
Okay, so you want to conclude, so we'll bring the next person on.
I just finished. I finished. I like a words because Kun is not somebody that's supposed to be speaker. He appealing to the Supreme Court to make him speaker. But the law is the law. The law must speak. If the Supreme Court says Kun should be the speaker, then we have a record to check on for tomorrow for our attorney to come. But for me, Kun not supposed to be the speaker of this country.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Franklin G. Myers calling from district number 4.
Let's hear your friend.
People are using the word honorable. I don't know how we understand the honorable. Call Rachel Kun honorable. Call Marcus Thomas honorable. Are they doing honorable things? Before honorable, before he gave them the title honorable, not what the issue is. And I'm telling you something. Don't be surprised to see Supreme Court bending the law. Don't be surprised. Captain Rachel Kun said in the church, they have been pre-discussed. The president is aware of what is going to happen. So let me just be clear with you that what Rachel Kun said, it is true. Where our smoke is, fire is there. And very, very, very clear with that the Supreme Court will bend the law. If the Supreme Court was not going to bend the law, when Joseph Boakai suspended those people from LCA and appointed people immediately, Supreme Court should have been paying into it. And I will constrain the money to call on Bossy show. Happy the parliament chief for almost a year.
Chief, yeah, we didn't talk about that. We comment on what we talk.
On the line, you cut me off.
Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I said I was on the line and you cut me off.
Yeah, go ahead now.
Redneck said we don't have to celebrate an Ethiopian airline returning to Liberia. This is disheartening to the core of my heart. Why Liberian people invest into their own economy? Ethiopian government going to make more money. They have the largest airline aviation plane in the whole of Africa. They make 1.3 billion every year out of the plane. 150 is a plane. You don't have a plane. Somebody coming to do business. Is that unprecedented? Why these guys are carrying the country backward? Why other countries are developing? You fighting to make impact. Don't see, don't corrupt. Use the money to make the impact. Why are you lying? It's so disgraceful to see. I saw it now. I'm living in Liberia now because of Jesus now. I want to change my nationality, brother.
What? You live in Liberia?
Sure, brother. If I have the opportunity,
where are you going?
BBC. I renounce my nationality because of Jesus government disgracing our country.
Where are you going if you are living in Liberia?
I'm not going to Europe.
You have the capacity to go to Europe?
Oh, I have the capacity. I go to Canada. I go to Australia. Why? Because brother.
You've been out of Liberia before?
Yeah, that's traveling.
So you plan. You sure it is the dismal performance of the Boakai's government that you decided to go back?
Performance and the lies, the deception, is criminal. People lying. Look at a lot of buses. You can buy buses for Brazil. Government procurement standard, they can buy used things. Why they go take money for a little buses? You look at narcotics. You believe in Ghanaians and Liberians? What is in narcotics? If you say that's a criminal deal, you put it on the international screen, it's best in the country. These are two things to do out there.
The people found that John in Boakai to use and get money onto themselves.
Yeah, because we told the guy, bring us with China. He doesn't remember anything. So they're going to use the country money to destroy the country. Look at the constitutional crisis before us today again.
Okay, Chief. But don't change your nationality. Let it not be because of Nebuchadnezzar Boakai that you change your nationality, yeah? Okay, man. Yeah, thank you for spicing up the first lab of the show. We've got other things to talk about. The National Elections Commission crisis seems to be far from over, and they are taking actions that might plunge the commission into a serious situation. We've gotten a report that they have dismissed 65 employees. 65. That's what unfolding. It's more than 65. The information I'm getting, more than 65 for protesting for their benefits. They have dismissed them. And to dismiss, you should have a genuine cause. And given the nature, you should be in the position to give them whatever is due them because you're breaking the contract, and you have to fulfill your responsibility. Now, given this situation, the people work. They have been demanding their money. The commission did not deny that they were not employees or contractors. The commission did admit. David Brown Lasana, she admitted, and she said that money that they needed or was intended to use for the payment was remitted into government's account. Where that money go? David Brown said they put the 21 million in government's account. They gave the money, they put the money back in government account. That money, 9 million or so, was for their payment, the benefits for the work they did prior to and in 2023 elections. That is the reason they've been protesting. Some of them signed contracts with the National Elections Commission. Some of them by gentleman agreement. Whatever the case, they labor. There is nothing in patriotism called free service. Patriotism simply means honesty, loyalty to your country. But your country paid you when you gave your labor, your expertise. It is complimentary. Those people gave everything for their country. They labor for the country. They cannot be used, exploited, and abused. Why David Brown Lasana and her people are enjoying. To dismiss these people is to exacerbate the tension at the National Elections Commission. And they will not accept it. On what condition you dismissing the people? How general is that dismissal? That's the first thing. As a leader, you take time to solve the problem. Even if it is weighing against you, there's always a solution to a problem. There is no problem that is bigger, harder, difficult for the leader. It only requires sorting out every details around it, and then solution will drop. That is why you don't put emotion in solving problem when people are agitating, and you know that their agitation is legitimate. If the people labor and they truly labor and they need their money because they have responsibilities and the money isn't forthcoming or you do not have it, there's a way you can solve that problem, or you pacify the atmosphere by appealing to their consciences, explaining everything to them, every situation that you're going through. And they will see reason to scale down their agitation and give you time by which you can look for dollars and give it to them. But to resist and then followed by dismissal. It hasn't solved problem in our country. It hasn't solved problem nowhere around the world. It only exacerbates the problem. Dismissing more than 65 persons is to say, let's get ready. We're in a warfare, just like the House of Representatives is in a warfare. That's what unfolded today. Then the teachers at the Catholic school, they too are vexed with what is unfolding, that they've decided to stage a protest too. The Catholic school, I think the Teachers Association. Yeah, it is the Association of Catholic School Teachers and Support Staff. According to what they've released, they schedule a protest for today. Today is the 2nd. Today is the 2nd, yes. Yeah, what they said from the document leaked out. They said the decision by ACT, that's the acronym, is predicated upon the Catholic Education Secretariat outright refusal to adhere or comply with our demands submitted months ago, which include, but not limited to, 1, National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, the Catholic Education Secretariat inability to be in full compliance in remitting employees monthly NASCO premium. 2, 50% reduction of war registration fees for all employees of the academic year 2024-2025 and onward. 3, compulsory medical and life insurance for all employees. 4, salary payment must be in accordance with the Decent Work Act of 2015 of the Republic of Liberia. In view of the above mentioned, the leadership is calling on all teachers and support staff under the banner of ACT to report to their respective schools beginning today, December 2nd, only to sign in their respective signing book and refrain from entering any classroom for the purpose of teaching or for any instructional activity. Meanwhile, throughout the go slow, throughout the go slow, teachers are advised not to take instruction from any school administrator or CES staff. Furthermore, any information relative to returning to academic normality. Anthony G. Lombert, he's the Assistant Secretary General, and they have Alfonso Nimnequire, is the president. So they announced, in not easy, protests all over the place. And then the LACC, they are still investigating. Last week, President Bouaga gave his ministers, his non-compliant ministers, 10 days to submit a full declaration of their assets. The LACC said, till now, they are cooperating, but the cooperation is low. And they have 8 days left, according to the LACC, those non-compliant officials of government to declare their assets. So that means the deadline is the 12th. Today is the 2nd. If they have 8 more days, then the deadline is the 12th of December. The commission says that they are receiving access declaration from these public officials, and it's based on the directive given by the sleeping president. And according to them, as part of efforts to uphold transparency and accountability, that warning to all public officials who are yet to comply with the legal requirement of declaring their assets or to do so. So they got 8 days. 8 days. Most of those people have not declared, and watch it. Take my word for it. Not every one of them will declare their assets, and nothing Barker will do to them. Absolutely nothing Barker will do. Those actions Barker took in the past, the Drug Enforcement Agency, he was constrained. What they call LIS, Immigration Service, he was constrained. He didn't want to. Watch all of those places. He was constrained. He didn't want to. But it was glaring that action needed to be taken. So he didn't have option. He could not cover anything. But within himself, he did not want to. Bwaga is weak jelly plastic bag, leadership-wise. He isn't the one taking the shots. He's only getting the credit. But somebody within the executive mansion who takes the shot, and they attribute it to him because they know that he's not mentally fit. He's not fully capacitated mentally. He's not the one taking all of the shots, but because he's the president, so it's attributed to him. So they were right and said the president has suspended the president. You heard what happened at the Ministry of State? President suspended, dismissing. Ministry of State suspending, dismissing. Does that make sense to you? Does that tell you that you have a government in place with a president? It only tells you that the president is there, but he's de facto. Though elected, constitutionally sworn in, but he's a de facto president. The people around him, they take the shots, and he does nothing about it. He doesn't query them. He doesn't take any action against them. Not at all. So that what unfold those on the second lab. Let's talk this getting stuff, and then we close with what unfolded at the weekend. There's only one thing I want to talk in that thing. When events are unfolding or is unfolding, I look for certainty, may try to pick up the what may seem the unusual. Even though this is sports, but everything is leadership. Everything is leadership. Right now, I'm talking to you, that's leadership. Where you are, whatever you're doing, that leadership. You're driving a car, you're on the market table, you're in a church preaching, you're in your office, whatever you're doing, that's leadership. Leadership is simply the ability that is given unto one using his or her 5 senses to get things under control or to keep things intact. Everything with the mind. That leadership involves decision making. And every decision, not only is it costly, but if it is not carefully reviewed, it could either cause chaos or it could be for the benefit of the person that is receiving it, or persons or institution. Those are the two. That is why before you take a decision, you have to be very mindful. And taking decision under pressure requires a leader who has control, not only of himself, but a full understanding of the ramifications of the decision that he will take. We see it all over the place. The referee, in his leadership, wasn't too clear about himself or did not have control over his leadership. He lost control of the leadership and the outcome of that, death. In the home, you see that. The mother will take a decision, and in her opinion, the decision is right, but it turns out to give a negative result. The father in the office, at the business center, everywhere. I am convinced it is based on that God said in from a leadership position that be swift in your decision making, slow to speak, quick to hear. Listen to yourself more. Ask yourself a series of rhetorical questions. Having understood what is before you, that whatever the decision you will make, it will either plunge, it will either cause chaos or advancement. The referee having a full control. Every environment is tense. Every work environment, business environment, church environment, legal environment, military environment, political environment, every and any environment as per the standard of environment is tense, where you have 2 or 3 or more traits coming together, different behavioral attitude, you will have tension. Tension not necessarily meaning fighting and screaming and cutting at each other, but that you will have disagreement first within yourself, and there's agreement from outside, from external or your colleague, and it can turn the atmosphere into something else. We all see that in arguments everywhere. One person will lose control, and then you hear people say, "Oh, my man, come on, man. You have to keep yourself. You need not say, you needed not to say this. No, you are the leader, yeah. You should be the last person saying this. You should be the last person there." In essence, they're telling that person you lost control of your leadership. You lost control of your mind. And you see what it has caused. That is why you have to be very careful. And what did God say? He said, be slow to speak. Analyze first. Analyze well. Let people say, oh, you see, that's one of the uniquenesses of former President George Weah. And we saw that in his reign. These same Unity Party people used to say, oh, Weah is inept. The man does not have leadership ability. The man do this. The man know this. The man can take independent thought. He doesn't reason. And on. Because they felt when something happened, the leader should just come out and speak outrightly. Weah would take his time to look at the matter. I told you about the situation that Eugene Nangwe explained, that they got vexed, they as ministers, and they went to the president telling him to take action. And after sitting for a while, he told them, he said, "You'll leave it. You'll leave it. Yeah? Let the people say, let them do it. You just leave it. Not that I can take action as the president, but you have to take time how you address the situation. Otherwise, if you're not careful, that means if you can read into it properly, you might get it all wrong and you start regretting, say, but if we had known, we would not have taken the decision. So what he will always do, I know that for a fact because we saw it throughout his regime. He will take his time not to address the issue, but it doesn't say that he wasn't aware. When the leader isn't speaking, people soon reach the conclusion, one, he isn't aware of it. Or he's aware, but he just does not want to take action. A leader who speaks last is a good leader. A good leader doesn't hasten. Even if there are voices in the corridor screaming, shouting, yelling here and there, that leader will register in your mind, one, there are different behavior traits on display. Two, they've got different responses. Three, I need to take time how I insert myself into it so that I don't miss out on the actual cause. Because if I miss out on the actual cause, then I will not know how to solve. And that's how President Weah was and still is today. You saw the situation. Let me use the most recent one with the House of Representatives misunderstanding. And people say, oh, the thing happening to a party. He own people then, they won't move the speaker, he's not talking, he's not doing anything. Because he was taking time, he was analyzing the situation. Because when a leader, once the leader has an understanding of the situation in depth, then he knows how to move in, because ultimately it is his responsibility to solve that problem and to solve it with no recurrence. That is why leadership is hard. Those of us who are on the fringe will think, oh, the president needs to do this. Why the president not speaking? Why the leader not speaking? Because they just think when something happens, the leader should speak immediately, or the leader should take action immediately. When you're not taking action, you're not speaking immediately, then they say, oh, the leader. No. It simply means the leader has it under control. He is figuring out, asking himself several rhetorical questions and putting all of the bits and pieces on the table so that when he takes siege of the matter, he will find a solution forthwith. Simple. But if you have no understanding of your leadership self, then it creates problem. You find that everywhere. So the referee is in the middle. The referee is the one who manages those 22 persons on the page, and by extension, the thousands of people who are sitting watching physically. Anything short of just being or just losing sight of his leadership by taking decision that will not go down well might cause chaos. So he lost control of his leadership by taking decision that he felt was right without looking at the aftermath. Aftermath is what's going to happen. If I did this, if I took this decision, will it affect the institution? Will it cause problem? Will it bring people against me? Will it give the result that we need? All of those, that's what they call the outcome. What happens after you've taken that decision? So he felt that it was right to send those two people off. And then after that, it was also right from his leadership self to give a penalty. And that resulted into the death of 56 persons. 56. Now listen, leadership is hard. Leadership is not anything easy. Nobody you see in leadership, you just think it is just an opportunity. To manage people, it is hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. It takes a person who listens more, speaks less, and has control of himself. Because anything to the contrary, imputing emotion, vexation, can cause problem. Just to manage your own self, managing yourself as a person, your own self, it is a leadership. How you organize yourself, everything is about decision making. That's what the leadership is all about. Leadership is all about decision making. Your own self as a person is difficult to manage. You make some decisions about yourself that as time goes by, you question, but why did I say this? Why did I take this decision? Why did I do this? I should not have done this. You examining yourself, you realize there's a problem. Then what more if you have somebody attached to you and you people are two, you're responsible for yourself from leadership standpoint and you're responsible for that person. Then there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. People who manage big institutions like Kings FM, those radio stations and offices, ministers, all of those people, pastors, it's not easy. Nobody should tell you that it's an easy thing. It's all about decision making, and the decision that you make will determine where and how the institution goes. The decision you make will either bring chaos or keep the atmosphere stable. That's why God said leaders must be the last to speak, listen more, analyze well, and put no vexation into anything. You know why he said no vexation? Because when you allow vexation to come in, it's going to disorganize everything. Haven't you seen some people, some leaders, they just sit there and say, hey, God, why I did this? I should have waited. I should have consulted. Have you not seen people, leaders that are confessing? They're confused because everything just turned haywire, upside down. And then you have people, honor people say, okay, but you should not have done that. You should not have said it. But the decision is gone. So the referee in his leadership role show a leadership that caused chaos. The decision he took, every decision is costly. That is why you have to look at it carefully, especially when you're dealing with people. Once you're dealing with 2, 3, more than 2, you have to be very careful. He felt he was doing the right thing in accordance with the rules. But what happened? The decision he took led to 56, according to BBC, 56 persons losing their lives. 56. It resulted to a stampede. Decision can anger, decision can soften. You don't want to be in that kind of situation. Those of you who are in leadership, you want to be careful, have control of yourself. Don't hasten to take any decision simply because you are the leader. If you see things are not going right, observe more, listen more, analyze well, and then you weigh your decision that you think you should take. You weigh it, meaning the aftermath of that decision you will take or will have taken. That's how it goes. You want to be very careful everywhere, anywhere you find yourself. So that will be doing it for that. So let's move now. let's close with this. It was discussed at length. Israel discussed that at length. So I'm not going to delve much into it. The kind of discussion you gave to it was good. It's good for our environment. At least we intellectualize those things. So Israel discussed it exhaustively. So I'm not going to go into the other stuff. No. What was not really, what many people left out, that's what I want to talk about. Listen carefully. The vice president should be regretting at this time. If he is a conscious being, he will be regretting. He will do a soul searching and confess. Prince Johnson from Nema County, political godfather for Nema County, the man who nurtured, he may not have nurtured Jeremiah Kuhn from his prime to where he is now, but he played a significant part in Jeremiah's Kuhn political upbringing. And that can go for exposure, opportunities, pieces of advice, and on we can go. Moreover, this man from Nema County in the late Senator Prince Johnson decided 3 different elections in this country. He was a towering political figure. He did exceptionally well. He focused the country's attention on Nema County as not only an electoral force, but a deciding factor. That's what the late Senator Prince Johnson turned Nema County into. To the extent that it came a time, the people, certain Nema County stakeholders, were uncomfortable with the dominance of Senator Prince Johnson as the political leader of Nema County. We are aware of that argument that ensued. If God would just reverse time, bring the senator back for 5 minutes and you raise that issue, the senator will say yes, and he will even explain more than I'm explaining. They were uncomfortable. They felt that the senator's voice was the lone voice of Nema County. And everybody would look up to him. That he should not have been the only voice that people should be listening to. That confusion was settled. We went into the election because it was the build up to 2023 presidential and legislative elections. When that argument ensued, I know that for a fact because I'm aware of it. We participated in our debate just as we're talking now. It subsided. Going into the elections, nobody could step up to the plate than Senator Prince Johnson the late. This county icon, to call him that way, a county icon, Nema County, died. Here is it, people. I can never ever do that. I hope it doesn't bring any split to the people of Nema County. I hope that they stay intact, they stay together. But what the vice president did, it was untraditional, not custom, unethical, not representative of him as a member of Nema County, a political figure who wants to be the next president after Bwaka, that Nema County will have a president or will have put up a president or produce a president. He sees himself in that direction. He was reliant on no person to help him do that going into 2029, then Prince Johnson. Suddenly, Prince Johnson died. What this Nema County, the Senator Kingsman needed to have done, coincidentally, the president is having his birthday celebration. Coincidentally, the president is having his birthday celebration. Now, don't say anything, whichever criticism you think you can attach to the president's birthday. Listen, you will be out of order rationally, because that birthday celebration was already planned. It got nothing to do. The president got no fish to fry in that. So I can go with that argument that, oh, the president should cancel his birthday. No, that will be too elementary on my part. That was already planned. Moreover, there are several factors who will come to that. Why none of those things from the president's side can be factored into. But rather, Jeremiah Kuhn, who is the vice president, messed up everything. You're listening. He messed up everything too elementary. Yeah, it's it. The first one. You have such a figure from Nema County who made significant impact in this country. Had he not passed off, was the one that Jeremiah Cohn was heavily dependent on. All hope, God first, Senator Johnson second. The man passed off. The president's birthday comes on coincidentally. What you need to do if you are traditional, if the vice president is truly traditional, knows what it means, that when a person of such stature passes, that he or she stays clear of everything public until that body or frame is placed beneath the earth-called grave. I had thought if Jeremiah Kuhn is traditional enough, would say the president's birthday is on. However, the senator was not an unknown person from Nema County, but a known figure for several years that has gone down in the annal of Liberia's history. And that the president worked with him and he worked with the president. In fact, he decided the election for Unity Party. I thought the vice president would be thinking this way and say, Mr. President, I know you're having your birthday celebration, but as the boss, please, I want to stay clear of everything public until my kinsman and political leader is buried. I wish you well as you celebrate your 80th birthday. I will find time to come and meet you and wish you well beyond what I'm saying to you, Mr. President. But please, accept my presence of your celebration. Had the vice president did that, you know how the people of Nema County will have felt. You know that right now the atmosphere is divided. The second thing that the vice president did, that I felt that he needed not to have done that. If he is traditional, meaning you know your culture, generally you know what it means, somebody of such passes from you, that under no circumstance that you will just feel comfortable in a gathering. The second anomaly or error of the vice president, every microphone he was ready to speak. Every journalist who put microphone to his mouth, he was ready to speak. Following the vice president with all of these things, I started to wonder, is this man truly feeling the death of his political leader and kinsman? Is he really? Because that's the last thing you ever want to do. Everybody who puts microphone to your mouth, you're ready to talk. It shows that you're not too sympathetic of the person's passing. Instead of staying clear of everything public. And even if the public wants to know certain things, or the media wants to know, there is a designated person. Like you were here, from elsewhere, the family has designated, or the family spokesperson. You hear that? Over the years now, we've been hearing that thing. It just is. It's like our ABC. You know why they do that? Because they don't want to be in the public making statements on giving the kind of person or persons they are. It might be used, it might be interpreted some kind of way. You know, the media is very creative. And you can blame them because they are all in search of news. And they will analyze based on their knowledge or how they see it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's their work. That's their profession. That's what they were trained to do. But the onus is on you, whom they want to get the information from, to stay clear of everything. I thought they would have done the traditional thing. John Josiah is the man who will divulge whatever we have for the public at the time necessary. No family member will make any public statement as we mourn the death of our father, brother, uncle, political leader, and senator. You can see immaturity not only in the vice president, but obsession to speak, to say things. Now, when the people analyze it the way they analyze it, then you people who from outside, you're getting vexed and saying all kinds of stuff. As if reasoning is not unto y'all. The vice president should not have done that. Tell Mr. President. And Mr. President knows he will have seen reason. Such a figure from Nema County died. And you, the vice president from Nema County, wants to be the next president. The man you are depending on, the man died. And now the family sees you as their covering. He goes to the house, takes charge of the atmosphere. In a couple of hours, he runs to the president's house to join in the celebration. It is untraditional. It means that he wasn't and still not too sympathetic. You can do that in any civilized or traditional environment. People that are who we reach at that level, people pass from us. When they come and say, you go to that person is responsible, that lady will share with you whatever the family has. You know why we do that? Because that's the tradition. We can be the one to be talking here and there, the other person talking, the other person talking. Everywhere, anywhere is news. At funeral, journalists can pick up news. It doesn't have to be in political gathering or church gathering. Anywhere is the news. Anybody who opens their mouth and say XYZ, the media can interpret it the way they think it ought to be interpreted. So when they start saying this other one did, the vice president said it, and then people get invested and say, oh, it's wrong, you're misinterpreting, all kinds of stuff. The vice president did not show any sympathy whatsoever. That was wrong, untraditional on his part, very immature. If anybody were to stay clear of everything leading up to this man's burial at Jeremiah Kun, if anybody the family would look up to as guardians leading to this man's burial, it's Jeremiah Kun. If anybody the family will look up to get pieces of advice leading to Senator Prince Johnson's burial, Jeremiah Kun. But he felt he should leave the family, go and join in Boakai birthday celebration. If I were the one, I just tell Mr. President, you know it. You know the situation we are faced with as a government and as a county. I wish you well as you celebrate your 80th birthday. But sir, please, I'm devoting time with the family until the burial. I will find time to come and meet you and wish you well. People, that's the normal around the world. But he refused. He traded the man's passing for birthday celebration, for eating and drinking. You're vice president, you're money man in Liberia. What kind of food that you can eat? What kind of occasion? If you didn't go to Boakai birthday, does it say that Boakai will not have birthday again? If you didn't go down there, you know what, people stay clear and just wish the person well from wherever they are because you are grieving. The family is grieving. If you ever left and go into a celebratory occasion or environment, it will be interpreted as having no sympathy. That you wanted the person to die, the person died, now you're happy. So you're celebrating. Yes. That's why I expected him to I don't stay clear of everything Boakai celebration. It doesn't say you're not vice president or Boakai will take you from there or you will not do what you need to do there after everything. That was not right at all. That's what I tried to share with you. It wasn't. He had been very immature over the days. Go back to the interview he had. The Thursday morning, Senator Johnson died. The vice president went there. Microphones were placed before him. He's excited to talk. He's explaining. You're listening to that interview. Do you know that what the vice president said? If this was another country, you know that something, the family and other people who have called for investigation, that something happened before the senator's death. You're listening to that interview. He said something before. He said something before the woman Wilhelmina Jala, before Wilhelmina Jala came up. Now, what they said, Wilhelmina Jala had no option but to just say, okay, that's it. Since they say, oh, the man was there hours in between before they brought him. So let's just say the same thing. Yeah. The interview he gave was not right. That interview he gave. He said some things in that interview that if this place and family, not poverty-stricken family, but financially balanced, literally exposed, will take up the matter and they will be quoting him or go to court because he raised a suspicion that in that interval something happened, because he said there was a delay. Was he there? Even if he went on the scene and the people told him, it was not for him to tell the media. The family explained to him in the house, keep it as it is. But he came outside and told the people. So Wilhelmina Jala had no option but to say what she said.
According to the that brought him, he passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. And so they picked him up and they rushed here. But according to the security that brought him, he passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. According to the security that brought him, according to the security that brought him, according to the security that brought him, according to the security that brought him.
She's quoting a security. So they explained to him, tomorrow I'll play the vice president because I want to give you time to have your say on this. So you listen to the vice president interview and hear what he said, and listen to Dr. Wilhelmina Jala. And hear the woman, she said the security that brought him. As much as I don't want to dig too much into that, so that because the family is hurt, going through but I just thought to talk about the anomalies, the error, the untraditional posture that the vice president showed, which was not right at all. If there is a misgiving amongst them, if other Nimbains capitalize on that, it's going, he'll be the cause. The man just gave a long interview. He's saying some things in the interview. Oh, and they kept the senator, and by the time they're rushing, so you want to tell me it was a delay before they carried this man to hospital? I can see why Dr. Wilhelmina Jala said that he was already dead. The vice president said there was a delay. So Dr. Wilhelmina Jala had no option but to say, okay, when they brought the man already finished before they took him from the house. So he looked at something.
According to the security that brought him, he passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. And so they picked him up and they rushed here. But upon arrival, and so they picked him up and they rushed here. And so they picked him up and they rushed here. He passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. He passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. And so they picked him up and they rushed here. According to the security that brought him, he passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom. And so they picked him up and they rushed here. But upon arrival, he was already not breathing. He was unresponsive and not breathing. But the nurses rushed and took him into the ER and started oxygen, started IV fluid, and started chest compression. I did my total examination, and he was unresponsive. His eyes were fixed. He was not breathing. Oxygen saturation, blood pressure were all 0, 0, 0.
The vice president will come out tomorrow so that you hear. So let me squeeze in this, then it is yours to have your say. So Nima County has lost a voice and a turning point. Going forward, Nima will struggle. That influence, that dominance, that certainty of winning election for a given president and government has dwindled. No voice and structure and stature like the late Senator Prince Johnson right now. The battle for their head will ensue. These are political indicators, like it or not. It doesn't stop any journalists from around the world, radio station, that's looking at the aftermath. That's the normal. In fact, they start doing it from the very first day. So it's going to be a clash between the Gio and the Mano for who heads, who takes that dominant role now, who going to be leading. The Mano will want to have that. The Gio will want to maintain that. You're going to hear of several rifts. But ultimately, Nima County has lost its voice and essence with the passing of Senator Prince Johnson. It would take a Herculean task to get themselves together because they've been divided. From stakeholders or stakeholder perspectives, they've been divided. They've been divided in Nima County. So if they will make impact going into 2029, they need to start doing that right after the senator's death. Probably the next voice that they might have and make him a dominant voice if he's willing to take on that mantle, Tiawan Gonglo. Probably because he's been in the political space for a little while, known in Nimba, though not very influential. And apart from him, I don't know whether I am aware of any other name, but they are names. But the passing of the senator has really dwindled the voice of Nima County now. Whether they will be in the position to decide election, like Senator Johnson did, and 3 different elections, I do not know. But what I do know that his passing has melted, if it is not melting, that urgency and vibrancy that Nima County had over the years with Senator Prince Johnson as the political leader. Let's turn to you, and I have you say in the next few minutes, and then we are out. The news is on at 6. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97 0777. The women's line. You men don't call on the line. That the women line. 98 0375. The men you can call 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97 0777 980375 only for the women only. So have your say, and then we take few calls and we are out on the show. Real Talk on Kings 88.5 with Mr. Andrews. Hello. You 0772-923-9903-0886-30-4497 for the women 9803-75. A few cards, and then we are out of the show. Few cards. Those are the issues we had on our plate today. Hello. But what happened? You call, then you go off. You call, you go off. Okay, if you're not going through on the Lone Star, then you can try the Circum. The Circum is 0772-2399-33.
According to the security that brought him, he passed out this morning on the way to the bathroom, and so they picked him up and they rushed here. But
okay. Hello.
Yeah. Andrews, my name is Ma Rachel calling from Lone Star gas station. You know, Jeremiah Kuhn, he already made that heavy mistake because your best friend or the person that made you can die. Then you go celebrate. He go celebrate, they see the one, but our job, we are not shaking hands, and they want the talking all over. But he's supposed to sit down and moon the person that made you. He left the person that made you. All that cry, he was crying. I just crocodile crying. He was laughing at that man's body. He said he was crying that day. Because for the person, he's supposed to be with Prince Johnson West. For her to know, say, hey, my husband was leaving you. Then I ordered them over there. But yes, the vice president myself together. But he made a woman to feel bad. He can't talk about say, hey, he can't talk about say, Joe, we are not shaking. They better go find something to do. Thank you for having me. Huh?
Thank you. Have a nice Monday. Hello. Yes.
How do you do?
I'm fine. And you?
Fine.
Let's hear you.
My name is. Hello? You getting me?
We are listening to you, Chief. You are on the air. Talk.
My name is James John. I'm calling for University. One thing I want to say is, let us forget about Opon, Jeremiah Queen, and whosoever. You put your message, they have their own way too.
All right, Chief.
Okay. When you kill out people doing say that you will be winners, and somebody going to say, you should get man, you got man, you know, do you know how to look in your country? Today, something of the country, one boy, something in the country today.
Thank you.
The something going through today. I put you on your head to bring something in this country.
All right.
Now, the something that we are going in this country, the something is worse than before.
Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Well, listen to the program. You know, we the Liberians, we don't like to be real an issue. I very commend you for Jeremiah Queen to be permanent in politics is through the late Prince Johnson. Despite the fact the differences with someone also Prince Johnson, you should have shared that movement in the time that they can bury him with the family, then they go to celebrate the president's birthday. So you want to tell me the president will not have another birthday when the day pass? Is that what Jeremiah is telling us? And you know that you have a problem with your own Yimba people. Because of our attitude, we don't travel, we get near, we are not exposed. They say, upon they didn't critique men.
And then you call somebody for it. I mean, shaking hand. Why would the Liberian people, we just believe in shaking hand? I don't know where somebody can say, yeah, you quit the person. We need to learn better and protect ourselves and always bring disgrace to ourselves. So I thank you for the program.
Thank you for calling. Have a nice day. Israel talking about that shaking hand stuff at length. I don't think I should say anything to that. Just thought to share what many people left out. Hello.
Yeah, brother Andrew, how you doing?
I'm good. And you?
Yeah, this is Peter Gulo. I'm calling from RRA this evening.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I think the issue about this shaking hand is not a first
I did not talk about shaking hand. I talk about the vice president. I did not talk about that. I will not entertain that which I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I beg you. I'm talking about shaking hand. Hello?
Yes.
Your name and where you call from?
Thank you for giving me a platform. My name is Lawrence Finn. I do join you from Chickasee Factory. Yeah, afternoon.
Yeah, let's hear you.
So the issue, I think I briefly follow your analysis, but I join lately. To just, enlighten the listening audience mind, the number politics and more besides the loss of Senator Johnson is a big blow to our country and Nigeria as a whole. And Senator VP going to celebrate or to speak to the president of the Republic of Liberia, he was not in error. Every country, every tribe have her own traditional. The traditional in Lima, many people are on the analysis, they don't even know about it. I'm an Liberian.
All right, Chief.
We got culture, we got traditional. Sometimes when some tribe, when the people die, sometimes when a man are full days. Sometimes when
the one say now, you say even though you joined the conversation late, but you got something. So was it right for the vice president to leave the family, even though he went there, then he jumped to a celebration when he has dead body?
He had dead body deposited at the funeral.
So he was not. It was traditional, right?
Let's understand the direction. I did tell you something. That everybody get a culture, everybody get a society, organization. I mean, not so society, but they get their culture and they follow those culture. And more besides, the president, the vice president, he was the first person. Even when the older woman died, when the puppy died, they went there on the 3 days. They been on that process. They already said all the.
Okay, Chief. Thank you.
You were right to go to the other side because it was just a short
visitation. All I want. Then you just beating around the bush.
Yeah, you were right to go in that direction because it was a short visitation. Then the other one, the issue that they have to do with that discussion, other people bringing on board is another discussion. But let me just enlighten their mind on that. Now President, former President Buck, we are first time to dodge.
Chief, my man, I talk about no handshake, my man. You have to follow the trend of discussion. What you hear the people talk or the host talk, that what you contribute to or that what you react to, that which you hear, you can bring it. Then you will decide what you want or the person should allow you. No, if I listen to the show and they measure anything as shaking hand, the one they talk about that the one I will call and make import on. That's how it goes. Yeah. Simple. Hello.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
My name is Loma Kamara. I'm calling you from Bombing County.
Let's hear you, Chief.
Specifically.
Yeah, let's hear you.
So, for me, I think Jeremiah Kun, who is the vice president of the Republic of Liberia, is right for sympathizing with the president. Let's say, for instance, Prince Johnson died and Jeremiah Kun went along with his family right? And then he did the needful until he was taken into a funeral. And the president decided to celebrate his birthday. So if he can't go on the president's birthday, it be you, your brother, you celebrating your birthday, your brother not come to you, how will you feel? It will be very bad. So Jeremiah is right to celebrate along with the president while all of them mourning their colleague. It means that when he celebrate with the president, they are not mourning for Prince Johnson.
But
no, they are doing
do
that.
You know that the two can go together? Traditionally, the two can go together.
It's not the two going together.
But, no,
things. No, it's not two. It's not the two going together.
But how you bereave and then you celebrating birthday?
He is not celebrating birthday. He went to sympathize with somebody who is celebrating their birthday.
So
let's know that. It was Jeremiah's birthday.
The place where that was sad place.
My brother, let me ask you. It's his birthday himself.
Chief,
the
play Jeremiah the play
somebody else who was celebrating his birthday.
Why Boaga ain't leave a birthday celebration to go there?
So now, if you say that, then that is another talk show that you bring in.
Later, man.
Just said the two things can go as one. If you asking that question, why
Boaga bereaved? That's not
wish me.
No.
You are bringing
Wait, Chief. No, that's not Boaga bereaved. No, Chief. What can I be here? So? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Chief, thank you now. Thank you. Your time off. My man, all that thing doing you now on the air. So we talking. You said you vice president. Take the vice president title from there. Your kinsman. If that was another person, you people who have been screaming all over the place, we know that. We know how you people conducted yourselves here against other people who did that. Right now, you're no tradition. Right now, you're labor in tradition. Hello? You're labor in tradition. So you're saying anything and everything. Your kinsman passed. Hello? Then you there saying all kinds of things, speaking to all of the media. Everybody that put microphone to you, you speaking, you saying things about the passing of the man. Should you be saying things about the passing of the man or that a designated person, you the spokesperson? It's just that our country, it's just that, but in other countries, you do that kind of thing, they will blow it out. And then everything people confused. That is the reason why the people can designate a given person to speak. Because they don't want confusion. So they synchronize the outflow by designating one person. All right. Thank you. That's all the time we've got. We're not taking calls again. Thank you ever so much. I appreciate all of you. We're back tomorrow. The news is on at 6. We have to make way. And after the news at 8 o'clock, it's Face the Issues with A.B. William. Thank you ever so much. My name is Sam Andrews. Shalom.
Somebody tells you all FM stations are the same. They haven't been listening. 88.5 FM is totally different. That's why true music lovers make a big switch. And because you have a winner taste, 88.5 FM is your only station.
You want music?
Then get music right now on Kings 88.5
FM.